Good morning, students. In this video, I shall discuss the pedigree analysis. That means how certain important traits they are actually transmitted from one generation to the another generation in a particular human population. Now, what is this pedigree? Pedigree is the study of inheritance of certain traits or certain important traits which may be your genetic disorder or it may be your certain exceptional phenotypes which are present in a particular population, and these human populations where they are transmitted, and by analyzing the family history, because this transmission pattern cannot be controlled, we cannot be done in a controlled way as we do in other organisms like your Drosophila or in the pea plant. But in case of human being, this type of experiments cannot be done in a controlled way. So that is why this pedigree is normally used for few generations, and that is actually called the pedigree. Now, how this pedigree is useful for this purpose of analysis, and that is called pedigree analysis. Now the study of the pedigree, and this pedigree it is normally used to study for few generations for the analysis of transmission of certain genetic disorder or certain exceptional phenotypes normally, and the possibility of their occurrence. How they will occur in certain other generation and in the other human beings of the next generation, and this is actually done to predict whether this particular gene or the particular trait will be normally occur in that particular organism or in particular generation. So that is why this is called your pedigree analysis. Now, this pedigree analysis is very much important for prediction of the certain diseases in the next generation or in the next or next generation. Now, this pedigree analysis can also be represented in the form of a chart. So when this pedigree analysis is represented in the form of a chart, then it is called the pedigree chart. Sometimes it is also expressed in the form of a tree, and how the different characters or traits are normally transmitted. So that is why this is called family tree. Either it is a family tree or it is a pedigree chart. It is very much useful for the transmission of the characters from one generation to the next generation. Now, next, how these genetic disorders particularly, they are transmitted from one generation to the next generation, and commonly these genetic disorders are normally either due to the defect in the gene or due to the defect in the chromosomes. Now the genes are located inside the chromosome. Sometimes the whole chromosome is normally defected, and sometimes certain genes. Now, so that is why basically these genetic disorders, the genetic disorders are of two types. Either the genetic disorders are due to defect in the genes, or either there is any defect in the chromosomes. Now, the defect when there is any particular gene inside the chromosome, either these are present in the autosomes. So this defect it is the. Now the genes are normally located either inside the autosomes or they are present inside the allosomes. So when the genes are present inside the autosome, then this defect or the disorders are called the autosomal disorder. And these autosomal disorders either due to the alleles which are in the dominant form, due to the dominant form of the genes of the alleles, or you can say these are the alleles, or either they are in the recessive form. So that is why they are accordingly called the genes which are autosomal dominant or they are autosomal recessive. Now, these allosomes. Here also, the genes are either having the allele which are dominant. Sometimes they are dominant in nature and sometimes they are recessive in nature. And the transmission pattern or the inheritance pattern of these genes are normally follow the pattern of Mendel's principle. So that is why these are called Mendelian disorders, or these are genetic disorders, or these are called Mendelian disorders. Now the disorders which occur due to defect in the chromosomes. So the chromosomes either may be due to defect in the autosomes or due to defect in the allosomes. So here what happened? Normally this defect in the chromosome due to the ploidy, that is called ploidy of the chromosome. Sometimes there is addition of the chromosome, that is either 2n plus 1, sometimes it is 2n minus 1, is 2n minus 1, or sometimes 2n plus 2, like that, and sometimes it is either XXY or it is sometimes only XX type. So this type of defects are normally occur due to either present an extra chromosome or either present some less number of chromosomes. So this type of disease or defect occurs due to this chromosome or due to this gene. So there are so many examples of this defect or genetic defect, like here hemophilia, then sickle cell anemia, then your color blindness. So these are different defects, color blindness, which occurs in the human being. So these are the different defects which normally occurs in the human being due to defect in the gene or sometimes some syndromes. These chromosomal defects are also called the syndromes, and these syndromes may be your Down syndrome or may be your Klinefelter syndrome. These are occur, but these chromosomal disorders, they are non-heritable or non-inheritable. That is why they are not herited to the next generation by this method. But this gene disorder, these are hereditary in nature. That means they transmit from one generation to the next generation. So that is why if the defect is present in a particular organism or particular population, then automatically this defect gene is transmitted or inherited to the next generation or sometimes to the next and next generation, and from the father to the son, from the mother to their son, from their father to the son to the next grandson, then mother to the son to their granddaughter, etc. So that is why this is very much important to predict whether these genes will occur in a particular individual or not. Now there are certain symbols which are commonly used for the preparation of the pedigree chart and for this purpose of pedigree analysis. Now this type of symbol, normally the square, it is used for the male individual, and the circle, it is used for the female individual, and when it is just like a diamond shape, then it is the sex unspecified, whether it is a male or female, it is unspecified. So in that case, it is normally diamond shape. Now, if the color is there inside the square or inside the circle or in the diamond, then it indicates the affected individual. That means the individual having the defective gene, and normally the individual is suffered from that particular disease, or it is called the affected individual. Now, when the mating occurs between the males and the female, then the male is given as the square and the female is the circle, and when they are joined together, That means the mating occurs between these two, male and female. And sometimes when two horizontal lines are there, then it indicates that this male and this female, here the mating occurs between the relatives, either brother, sister or cousin, like that. Now here what happens? The first male and female, these are the parents here, and second this vertical line, this line normally is drawn here, and another couple, this is the female and this is the male, then that is the parents are present above, and just below it they are the children. This is the female children, and when it marries, this is the female children, it will marry another one, or it is the male, he will marry another one. So this is different thing, but these are the descendants of these parents. So that is, they are the children, and which are normally mentioned below, or they are indicated in this form or in this symbol. Now, when there is an affected child, then this is the father and this is the mother, and from the father and mother, this is the child, and when it is given a red symbol or red color here, and it is a solid square having the red color, then this is the parents. These are the father and mother, these are the parents with the child. This is the child, and this child, and it is red in color, then it is the symbol of an male child affected. Now, sometimes it is also we represent it the diamond, and inside it a 5 is written. That means the 5 indicates that it is a diamond shape and it is not filled with red, so that is why they are unaffected, and there are 5 unaffected children are there. So in this way, so that is why there are so many other complicated symbols are also used for the analysis of this pedigree. But in your class or in class 12, normally only this much of symbols are used to analyze the pedigree. Myotonic dystrophy. This is a common muscular dystrophy disorder which is normally occurs due to the defect in the autosomal dominant gene. That means the autosomal dominant gene, which is normally present in the 19th chromosome, and due to defect in this gene, normally the myotonic dystrophy occurs. And this myotrophy, it is a muscular dystrophy or muscular disorder in the skeletal muscle. Now, how this dominant gene is actually inherited from parents to their offspring. Now, look at here. In case of due to defect in this gene, normally the gene which is present there in the 19th chromosome, and normally it is in the dominant form. So that is why whenever it is there in the gene, then it codes for the myotonic dystrophy protein, that protein kinase of the skeletal muscle, and due to which this type of problem occurs. Now, if this is the female one, or you can say it's the mother. Now, mother is affected from this problem. So, this gene is normally in the dominant form in 19th chromosome, and the male is the normal one, but they are children. 50% of their children, now look at here, the male is affected, here the female child is affected. That means in the next generation it is observed, and also from this generation in the next generation it is observed. That means this disease never skip any generation. So whenever it is in the dominant form, it is present in any offspring, then it will definitely express. So that is why this gene 50%, suppose here it is present, that means whatever gametes which will form, 50% of the gametes will be having this gene. Then when this 50% gamete will fertilize the male gamete automatically from gamete from the father, then automatically the 50% more or less children they may be affected due to this. So that is why this disease never skip any generation. In each and every generation, at least 1 or 2 child they will be affected by this. Now the affected parents always have an affected children. So whenever it is an affected parent, that means they must have an affected children. and this is suppose it is an affected parent, then most of the affected children. So that is why this dominant gene always transmit from one generation to the next generation, and whenever it is present, then it normally this disease expressed there in the next generation. Now we shall discuss the autosomal recessive gene disorder. Now here in this autosomal recessive gene disorder, it normally occurs in case of human being, and most common example that is your sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell anemia, another example that is the phenylketonuria, then the thalassemia and cystic fibrosis. But we shall now discuss in detail about the sickle cell anemia. Now this sickle cell anemia, it is a disease which occurs in the human being due to defect in the beta cistron of 11th chromosome in case of human being. In 11th chromosome, there is the gene that is called the beta cistron, and if there is defect in the beta cistron, then which type of defect occur? That is due to the sequence of this genetic code, that is the GAG, which is present in the 6th position of the chain. Now the amino acids which are coded by this, it is normally changed due to the one base sequence or nitrogenous base. Now when it is the normal hemoglobin are synthesized, when it is your GAG, this is the template, this is the DNA template, normally GAG, and the coding strand becomes CTC, and automatically here this DNA sequence which is here, normally if it will be coded, then the mRNA will be synthesized from this template, and this mRNA which is formed here, this is your C, the complementary will be G, T it will be your A, and C it will be your G. So that is your the mRNA sequence is GAG, and this GAG will code for the amino acid glutamine. So that is why this is the normal hemoglobin which is formed when this type of code is present, and the hemoglobin which is formed here, it is a normal hemoglobin, and normally it is called a HbA gene. Now when in this position GAG, if it is changed to GTG, then if it is GTG, then the other strand will be your CSC, and this is the template strand for the formation of the mRNA. Now the CSC will form the mRNA which is having GTG. Now this GTG mRNA will code for the amino acid that is valid in the 6th position. So that is why their sequence is altered in the 6th position, where in the normal hemoglobin, that is your GLU or glutamine, but in the defective gene, that is your valine. So that is why due to this, the cell or the RB or hemoglobin, you can say, this hemoglobin is now, it is sickle separated. The sickle separated hemoglobin is formed here. But in this case, it is disc separated, it is the circular and biconvex in shape when it is normal, and these hemoglobins are responsible for the transmission of the oxygen or the transport of the oxygen from the lungs to the different parts of the body. But when the shape becomes sickle separated, the oxygen carrying capacity of the hemoglobin decreases. Now, how these genes are actually located in the chromosome? They are either in the homozygous form, that is your HbA. If both are normal type, then the hemoglobin which are formed here, they will be your normal hemoglobin. So when any person having both the genes are normal, then that is the normal hemoglobin will be synthesized, and they are circular and disc separated. But when it is heterozygous, then that means HbA is there and HbS, it is sickle cell or this type of, this is the HbS. Now if this HbS is there and also the HbA, both are present, then both normal hemoglobin will be synthesized as well as the sickle type or sickle shepherd hemoglobin will be synthesized. So both the normal and the sickle shepherd hemoglobin will be present in that particular individual. So they are normally sickle cell anemia is there in their body, but they are not affected so much. But when it is in homozygous recessive form, that means both the genes are HBS and HBS. In this case, what happened? The hemoglobins which are formed here, they are totally sickle shepherd. That means mostly the hemoglobin which are present here, they are sickle shepherd. So that is why the oxygen carrying capacity becomes very low, and the organism or the individual is normally anemic. And when it is anemic in nature, that means automatically the oxygen carrying capacity is very, very low. So that is why they normally die in the early stage. So that is why this type of defect is occurred due to the sickle cell anemia and defect in the base sequence and in the formation of the polypeptide chains, and where the valine is introduced in place of glutamine in the 6th position of the chain. Now, this is the pedigree analysis for this, and if in this case this is the male individual, this is the female. Suppose this is the in the second generation, if both males are normally normal, but they have the carrier or the HBS gene, so that is why you will observe here. So here HBS and HBS will be here. Then one must be HBS there and one HBS there. That means they are normally having the heterozygous condition, HBA and HBA. Then only here it will be HBS. So that is why if this HBS are this recessive gene is normally it is in the homozygous condition, then only they will be expressed because it is recessive one. When it is in heterozygous condition, the impact is not much because both are synthesized there. So in this case, here look at here, the same problem is also there in the third generation. So that is why in the autosomal recessive cases, normally in every generation you will find here normally it is not found. It is normally skips the generation. Why? Because in case of heterozygous condition, suppose it is HBA and HBS, then it is not expressed. But when it is in HBS and HBS condition, that is in the homozygous recessive condition, in that condition they are expressed. So that is why they can skip the generation, and normally they are transmitted from one generation to the next and to the next generation. But sometimes what happens, when they are in heterozygous condition, although the carriers are there, but they are not 100% affected. So this is the pattern of normally transmission of the disease or the gene which is responsible for the sickle cell anemia, and their pattern is observed in this way. Next, the allosomal, or that is the sex-linked or X-linked dominant gene disorder. Normally, as we have already discussed about the autosomal disorder, the genes which are present there in the chromosome numbers 1 to 22 are the autosomal. And here, if the gene is present either in the X chromosome or in the Y chromosome, but normally they are present in the X chromosome. If any gene present in the X chromosome and if it is defective, then the disorder which is formed, that is called allosomal disorder. But when this gene is an allele or is an dominant allele, and this allele will actually affect the disease, then it is called a dominant gene disorder. So sometimes some dominant genes, they normally cause the disease. So that is the common example, that is your Rett syndrome in case of girls. This will affect the development of the girls in the early stages. Now look at the pedigree chart here. If any female is affected, then automatically the next generation, the male and female both are affected, because it is present in the X chromosome, and there are two X chromosome present here and one X and one Y chromosome here. So that is why they are transmitting both to the male as well as the female. So that is why both males and females are affected if the female is affected. Now look at here. Suppose the female, it is having one dominant gene which called the Rett syndrome, and this dominant gene will go to this individual and this dominant gene also go to this individual. That means 50% male and female and 50% male will be affected, and 50% male, female and 50% male will be normal. But what happens here? By looking at this transmission pattern of this dominant allosomal gene, normally the gene or the dominant allosomal gene or X-linked gene, it never transfer from father to son. Why? Why it normally does not transfer? Because the XY, these are the two alleles which are formed by the father or the male, and out of which this X normally goes to the female one only. So that is why the X chromosome which is present in the male individual or in the father, it normally goes to the daughter only, and this X chromosome never goes to the son, because to son the X chromosome comes from the mother. So that is why the sons will not be affected if their father is affected. So that is why father never transfer the dominant allosomal gene to his son. Now, if all daughters of an affected father will be affected automatically, because the X chromosome, here what happens? The X chromosome which is present there in the father, suppose this is the X chromosome and it is present in the father, then this X chromosome normally goes to the daughter only. So that is why if father is having the dominant gene here, then automatically this dominant gene will transfer to the daughter, not to the son. So that is why the daughter will be affected. Maybe if it is heterozygous, then maybe 50%, and if it is homozygous dominant, then it will be 100%. So that is why the daughters will be affected if the father is having that dominant defective gene. Now, if mother is affected, then automatically the X chromosome from the mother, it normally transfer to the son. So that is why this XY will be here, and this defective gene or the defective dominant gene will come to the son. So that is why if mother is affected, then there is a chance that the son will be affected. If it is heterozygous, then 50%. Then if it is homozygous dominant, then it will be your 100%. So that is why this is the pattern of inheritance of the allosomal dominant gene disorders, or you can say X-linked dominant genes. So in this way, the X-linked dominant genes are normally transmitted from one generation to the next generation. Now, when the defective gene, it is an allosomal, or it is present in the X chromosome, or it is called X-linked, and if it is recessive one, not dominant, then this disorder is normally transmitted in a different way, because the recessive gene only when it is in homozygous recessive condition, or it is in the X chromosome of the male, because it is only one chromosome is there. So that is why if it is, even if in the recessive form, then also it is expressed in the male. But in case of female, if both will be in recessive form, then only it will be expressed. Otherwise, if it will be your dominant form and it is recessive form, then it is a carrier, right? So that is why here what happened, the recessive genes are normally transmitted in a different way, and let us discuss the example, that is your hemophilia. Hemophilia is nothing but the bleeder's disease, which normally do not clot the blood, or it does not allow the blood to clot if this type of defect is there in the chromosomes or in the genes. Now, this color blindness, another important example where the distinction of a particular color is not done by the individual if it is having this type of defect. Now, this is the pedigree chart by which when there are father and mother, father is here and mother is here. Here, look at it is affected one, and it is affected one, and it is affected one. So that is why, from our common observation, it is found that the males are more affected than females. Why? Why the males are more affected than females? As I have already discussed here, because here only one X chromosome is there, and if in this chromosome and this gene is present, then it will be definitely expressed, because here is X is present in the hemizygous condition or in a single condition. So that is why whenever it is present in this chromosome, automatically it is expressed. So that is why males are more affected. But in case of females, what happens? When it is homozygous condition, then only this gene will be expressed. Otherwise, when it is heterozygous condition, it will not be expressed because another dominant gene is there. So that is why the males are more affected than the females. Now they never transfer, or these genes never transfer from the father to son, as I have already discussed, because the X chromosome of father will not go to the son, but it always goes to the daughter. And the X chromosome actually coming from the mother for the son. So that is why if the defective gene is present here, then this gene will transfer to the daughter and not to the son. So that is why this X-linked recessive gene never transfer or never inherit from the father to its son, but father to its daughter. Now, if mother is affected, then there will be the chance of affected son, because this X gene, if it is an affected X gene, then this gene actually goes to the son, and that is why whenever the mother is affected, then only, or the mother is having the defective gene, then only there is a chance of transmission of the defective gene to the son. So that is why in this way they are transmitted from one generation to the next generation. Now here there are 4 probabilities of this. When a normal father it marries an affected mother, then what will happen? The father is normal, but mother is affected. Affected means what? Suppose the affected gene is present here in both the cases, but normal father means what? It is a normal father, and suppose the Y chromosome is here. So that is why here all sons will be affected, because the X chromosome will move from or inherit from the mother to the son. So that is why all the sons will be having this type of defective gene. So that is why this defective gene will be there in each and every son. So that is why all the sons will be affected if the mother is affected. Now, all daughters will be carrier, because one X chromosome from mother will go to the daughter. It is XX, so one from father, one from mother. If the mother chromosome are having the defective gene, so automatically one defective gene will definitely go to the daughter. So that is why all the daughters will be carrier here. Now, if the father is affected, having X affected gene and Y, and the mother is normal, then what happens? The sons are normal, the sons will never be affected, and the daughters are having one X chromosome from the father. So that is why the 50% daughter will be carrier and the 50% daughter will be normal. Now, in third case, if the father is affected and mother is carrier, carrier means what? one is having the affected gene and another without having the affected gene. So that is, in this case, what happened? The 50% sons are, it is the chromosome here, X and Y. So that is why father is affected and the affected gene is there. So that is why here what happened? 50% sons are normally normal, because your two types of gametes will be formed. One will be your affected and another is a normal. So they move to the son. So the 50% son will be your normal one, and 50% will be having the affected gene. Now the daughters are normally 50% will be the carrier and the 50% will be affected, because if this one fuses with this one, then they will be affected. Then 50% will be affected, and if it will fuse with this one, then 50% will be carrier. So here 50% daughters will be carrier and 50% will be affected. Now the next, if father is normal and the mother is carrier. So normal means one, suppose X and Y is here, and the X chromosome having the normal gene, and here what happens? If it is carrier, that means having one affected gene, another normal gene. So that is why what happens? That 50% normally sons are normal and the 50% are affected, because this affected will go to the 50% of the son and another 50% from here. So that is why they will be affected here. So that is why 50% will be normal and 50% will be affected. But in case of daughters, what happens? Suppose it is the carrier, that is why one X chromosome will go to the daughter definitely, and another X from here. So that is why there is chance of here 50% of normal, and here normal is there. So 50% normal and 50% carrier. So this is the pattern by which the normally the X-linked recessive genes are normally transmitted from one generation to the next generation. So that is why in this way there are four different categories normally, that is the autosomal dominant, then the autosomal recessive, then the X-linked or allosomal dominant, and X-linked or allosomal recessive. So these are the four types of chromosomes are there, and how the dominant and the recessive pattern, they are affected when they are transmitting from one generation to the another generation. Now I hope this video will be beneficial for you. If it is really beneficial for you, then please like it and subscribe for further videos. Thank you very much.